Marcus Chen wiped the sweat from his forehead as he worked on the broken water recycler. The machine made strange noises and refused to clean the station's water properly. He had been trying to fix it for 3 hours, but nothing seemed to work. The research station on New Kepler was always breaking down, and Marcus was the only engineer left to fix everything. The storm outside grew stronger. Rain hit the metal walls like tiny hammers, and wind howled through the cracks. Marcus liked storms. They reminded him that even on this faraway planet, nature still had power over technology. He was about to return to his work when he heard a soft tapping sound. Tap, tap, tap. The sound came from the main door. Marcus stopped working and listened. Who would be outside during such a bad storm? The nearest settlement was 50 miles away, and no supply ships were expected for weeks. The tapping came again, softer this time. Marcus walked to the door and checked the security screen. Through the rain and darkness, he saw a small figure standing in front of the door. The figure looked young and was soaking wet from the storm. Marcus opened the door quickly. Cold wind and rain rushed into the station. The figure outside was definitely not human. She had pale blue skin that seemed to glow slightly in the dark. Her head was larger than a human's, with no visible ears. Instead of hair, she had thin tendrils that moved slowly in the wind. She wore torn clothes that had once been white but were now dirty and wet. "Please," she said in broken English. Her voice was soft and musical. "Help me." Marcus stepped aside to let her in. She walked carefully, one hand touching the wall. Her movements were strange, like she was feeling her way around in the dark. But the station was well lit, so Marcus wondered why she moved like that. Come in, Marcus said. "You're freezing." He grabbed a clean towel from a nearby cabinet and handed it to her. "What's your name?" "What are you doing out in this storm?" The alien girl took the towel gratefully. "My name is Zara. I am Valerian." She dried her face and tendrils with careful movements. "My people. They left me here." Marcus had heard of Valerians before. They were one of the most advanced species in the galaxy. Their ships moved faster than anything humans had built. Their technology was so advanced that they considered humans to be primitive. But this young Valerian looked lost and scared. "Left you here?" "Why?" Marcus asked. He led her to a chair near the heater. "Are you hurt?" Zara sat down slowly. She kept her head turned slightly to one side like she was listening for something. "I cannot hear see," she said. "Valerians use sound to see the world. We make clicks and listen to how they bounce back. But I was born broken. I cannot make the right sounds. I cannot see like my people." Marcus understood now. Valerians had natural sonar like dolphins or bats on Earth. They could see their environment by making sounds and hearing the echoes. If Zara couldn't do this, she would be blind in her society. "So you're blind?" Marcus asked gently. "Yes," Zara nodded. "In your human words, I am blind. My people tried to fix me when I was small. They used their best medicine and technology. Nothing worked. They said I am useless, a burden, so they brought me here and left me." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. How could any parent abandon their child like this? Even if she was different, she was still just a young person who needed help. "How long have you been alone?" he asked. 3 days, Zara replied. "I found this place by accident. I was following the wall of the canyon when the storm started. I felt the metal of your building and hoped someone kind lived here." Marcus looked at her more carefully. She was thin, probably from not eating enough. Her clothes were torn in several places. She had been surviving alone in the wilderness for 3 days during storm season. That took incredible strength and determination. "Well, you're safe now," Marcus said. "I have food and warm clothes. You can stay as long as you need." Zara's face showed surprise. "You would help me? But I am alien to you. And I am broken." "You're not broken," Marcus said firmly. "You're just different. And being different doesn't make you useless." Marcus went to his small kitchen and heated some soup. He also found clean clothes that might fit Zara. When he returned, she was sitting very still. Her head tilted like she was listening to everything around her. "You have very good hearing," Marcus observed as he handed her the soup. "It is all I have," Zara said. "I must use my ears and my hands to understand the world. But it is not enough. I miss so much. I cannot move quickly or safely. I cannot work or help others. My people were right to leave me." "No, they were wrong," Marcus said. He sat down across from her. "Just because you can't do things the same way they do doesn't mean you can't do them at all." Zara sipped the soup carefully. "You are kind, human. But you do not understand. Valerian society is built around hearseeing. Everything we do requires it. Our buildings, our technology, our culture. Without it, I am nothing. Marcus watched her eat. His mind was already working on the problem. He was an engineer. He solved problems for a living. Throughout human history, humans had found ways to help people with disabilities. They built tools and technology to make life better for everyone. What if there was another way? Marcus asked. What if you could see without using Valerian hearseeing? Zara stopped eating and looked in his direction. What do you mean? Humans have developed technology to help blind people navigate the world. We use cameras, sensors, computers. What if we could build something that would let you see like humans see? Impossible, Zara said, but her voice held a note of hope. If Valerian science cannot fix me, how could primitive human technology help? Marcus smiled. He had been called primitive many times by alien species. Humans were always seen as the slow, simple species that had barely figured out space travel. But humans had something that many advanced species had lost, the refusal to accept that problems couldn't be solved. Maybe our technology is primitive, Marcus said. But sometimes simple solutions work better than complicated ones. And sometimes an outside perspective sees possibilities that experts miss. The storm continued to rage outside, but inside the station, something new was beginning. Marcus looked at Zara and saw not a broken alien, but a person who needed help. And helping people was something humans did very well. If you're willing to try, Marcus said, I'd like to help you see. Zara set down her soup bowl. For the first time since entering the station, she smiled. Yes, she whispered. I would like to try. Neither of them knew that this moment would change everything. Neither of them could imagine that in just a few days, 4 of the deadliest soldiers in the galaxy would come hunting for what they were about to create. All they knew was that sometimes the most important journeys begin with a simple offer to help. The storm raged on, but inside the small research station, hope was growing. Marcus spent the next morning studying everything he could find about Valerian biology. His computer had basic medical files from the colonial database, but most of the information was incomplete. What he learned fascinated him. Valerians had a special organ in their heads called a resonance chamber. This organ made clicking sounds and processed the echoes that came back. It was like having a sonar system built into their brains. But Zara's resonance chamber was underdeveloped. It could not make the right sounds or process echoes properly. Interesting, Marcus said as he read the files. Zara sat nearby, listening to everything he did. She had learned to identify his movements by sound. When he typed on his keyboard, she knew he was working on the computer. When papers rustled, she knew he was reading. What is interesting? Zara asked. Your people tried to fix your resonance chamber directly, Marcus explained. They wanted to make it work like a normal Valerian organ. But what if we don't fix it? What if we replace its function entirely? I do not understand. Marcus turned his chair to face her. Humans can't naturally see in the dark, so we invented night vision goggles. We can't naturally breathe underwater, so we invented scuba gear. We can't naturally fly, so we built airplanes. We don't try to change our bodies. We build tools that do the job instead. Zara tilted her head thoughtfully. You want to build a tool that does what my resonance chamber cannot do? Exactly. But not just any tool. Something better. Marcus was getting excited now. Your resonance chamber is broken, but the rest of your brain is fine. In fact, the part that processes spatial information might be even more developed than normal, because you've been working so hard to understand your environment. Marcus walked to his workshop area. The station was small, but he had managed to fit a decent engineering lab into one corner. Shelves held various electronic components, sensors, and computer parts. His 3D printer hummed quietly in standby mode. Humans have been working on neural interfaces for decades, Marcus explained, as he gathered equipment. We've built devices that connect directly to the human brain to help paralyzed people control computers or robotic arms. What if we could build something similar for you? Over the next 3 days, Marcus worked almost non-stop. He barely slept and forgot to eat meals. Zara helped in small ways, organizing parts by touch and listening for problems with electronic components. She had incredibly sensitive hearing and could detect when circuits were not working properly just by their sound. This resistor makes a tiny buzzing noise, Zara would say, holding up a small component. The others do not buzz. Marcus would test it and find that Zara was right. The resistor was defective. Her hearing was so good that she could detect electrical problems that his instruments might miss. The device Marcus built looked like a combination of glasses and a headband. The main part sat on Zara's forehead, where it could connect to the area just above her underdeveloped resonance chamber. Thin wires ran to sensors mounted on a lightweight frame that fit over her eyes. The sensors can detect heat, movement, and distance, Marcus explained as he made final adjustments. But that's just the beginning. I've programmed the system to convert visual information into patterns that your brain can understand. What kind of patterns? Zara asked. Sound patterns, but not the same as Valerian echolocation. Think of it as a new language. Different tones for different distances, different rhythms for different shapes, different volumes for different materials. Marcus had worked for 60 hours straight to finish the neural interface programming. The hardest part was figuring out how to send information to Zara's brain in a way it could understand. Human brains and Valerian brains were different, but they both processed spatial information. Marcus had to find the common ground. Are you ready to try it? Marcus asked. Zara nodded, though she looked nervous. What if it does not work? Then we try again, Marcus said simply. That's what engineers do. Marcus carefully placed the device on Zara's head. The sensors hung in front of her eyes like strange glasses. The main unit pressed gently against her forehead. Thin, flexible wires connected everything together. I'm going to start with very low power, Marcus said. Tell me if you feel anything uncomfortable. He activated the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Zara gasped. I hear something, she whispered. It's like music, but not music. Like patterns of sound. Good, Marcus said. That's the device translating what it sees into audio. Can you tell what direction the sounds come from? Zara turned her head slowly from side to side. The patterns change when I move. There is a loud tone to my left, a softer tone straight ahead, and complex patterns to my right. The loud tone is the wall. The soft tone is empty space. The complex patterns are my workbench with all the equipment on it. Zara stood up carefully. I want to try walking. Go slowly, Marcus warned. Your brain needs time to learn this new language. Zara took a step forward. The sound patterns shifted and changed. She took another step, then another. She was walking across the room, guided only by the audio patterns from Marcus's device. This is incredible, she breathed. I can tell where everything is. The chair, the table, the walls, even small objects. But Marcus had programmed the device to do much more than just detect objects. As Zara grew comfortable with basic navigation, he activated additional features. Tell me what you sense now, he said. Zara stopped walking. Her face showed concentration as she processed the new information. The patterns are more complex now. More detailed. I can sense heat. The computer is warm. Your body is very warm. And there's something else. What else? Movement. Tiny movements. I think I can sense your heartbeat. Marcus checked his program. The device was working even better than he had hoped. The sensors were detecting infrared radiation, air currents, and vibrations. Zara's brain was learning to interpret all of this information almost instantly. Over the next few hours, Zara explored the station with growing confidence. She could navigate around obstacles, find specific objects, and even detect things that were hidden from normal sight. There is something behind that cabinet, she said, pointing to a spot where Marcus had left some spare parts. How can you tell? Marcus asked. The sound patterns show empty space where there should be wall, and I sense metal objects with complex shapes. Marcus was amazed. The device was not just replacing Zara's missing sense. It was giving her abilities that surpassed normal Valerian echolocation. She could see through thin barriers, detect heat signatures, and sense electrical fields. But the biggest surprise came that evening. Zara was practicing with the device when she suddenly stopped and turned toward the communication console. Your communication device will receive a message in 30 seconds, she said. What? How could you possibly know that? Marcus asked. I sense electromagnetic patterns building in the antenna system. Something is coming. Exactly 30 seconds later, the communication console beeped with an incoming message. Marcus stared at Zara in shock. The device was somehow letting her detect radio signals before they were strong enough for the equipment to process. This is impossible, Marcus whispered. The sensors shouldn't be able to do that, Zara smiled. Maybe human technology is not as primitive as everyone thinks. Marcus realized that he had created something far beyond what he intended. The device didn't just help Zara see. It gave her superhuman awareness of her environment. She could detect things that even advanced Valerian technology couldn't sense. As they prepared for sleep that night, neither of them knew that the message Zara had sensed was already being analyzed by Valerian intelligence systems. Neither of them realized that their innocent project had just triggered alarms across the galaxy. The hunter ships were already being prepared. Elite soldiers were being briefed. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Valerian hegemony was learning that a primitive human had just accomplished the impossible. The peaceful days in the research station were about to end. 3 days after Zara first used the device, Marcus received an encrypted message on his personal communication channel. The message was short and came from his friend Dr. Sarah Kim, who worked at the main Colonial Administration Center. Marcus, we need to talk. Privately. Important. Delete this message. Marcus frowned. Sarah was not the type to send mysterious messages. She was a careful scientist who always followed proper procedures. If she was asking for secrecy, something serious was happening. He contacted her using a secure channel that most people didn't know about. Sarah's face appeared on his screen, but she looked worried and tired. Marcus, what have you been working on? She asked without greeting. Just the usual station maintenance. Why, don't lie to me. We've been friends for 10 years. I know when you're hiding something. Sarah leaned closer to her camera. 2 days ago, Valerian ships started appearing near human colonies. Not trade ships. Military ships. They're asking questions about human technology and looking for someone. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. What kind of questions? They want to know about human neural interface research. They're specifically asking about any projects that might help disabled individuals. And Marcus, they mentioned New Kepler. Through the conversation, Zara sat quietly nearby. Her device let her hear both sides of the communication clearly. Marcus could see her becoming tense as she understood what Sarah was saying. They're looking for me, Zara whispered. Sarah heard her voice through the communication link. Who was that? Marcus, is there someone there with you? Marcus made a decision. If Valerian military ships were involved, hiding the truth would not help anyone. Sarah, I need to tell you something. But you have to promise me that you won't report this to anyone else until we figure out what to do. Marcus, you're scaring me. Just promise. Okay, I promise. Marcus told Sarah everything. He explained how he found Zara, how he built the device, and what it could do. As he talked, Sarah's expression changed from worry to amazement to fear. My God, Marcus, she said when he finished. Do you understand what you've done? I helped someone who needed help. You've created technology that surpasses Valerian capabilities. You've taken one of their people and made her more powerful than their best soldiers. And you did it with human engineering. Zara spoke up. Dr. Kim is correct. My people fear humans more than you realize. You reproduce quickly, adapt to any environment, and refuse to accept limitations. The only thing that kept them comfortable was believing that human technology was primitive. Sarah nodded. The Valerians have always seen humans as useful but harmless. We're good at mining, farming, and basic manufacturing, but we're not supposed to be able to compete with advanced alien technology. But Marcus has proven that wrong, Zara continued. He has shown that human innovation can achieve what Valerian science considers impossible. This threatens everything they believe about their superiority. Marcus was beginning to understand the problem. So they're not just looking for you. They're looking for the technology. They're looking for both, Sarah said. And Marcus, they're not planning to ask nicely. The intelligence reports suggest they're sending specialist teams, military specialists. That evening, Marcus tried to work on normal station repairs, but his mind kept returning to the problem. The Valerians were coming, and they were not coming to negotiate. He had created something that threatened their view of the galaxy, and they wanted to eliminate that threat. Zara spent the time exploring the station with her enhanced senses. The device had continued to improve as her brain learned to use it better. She could now detect things that seemed impossible. There are 3 small aircraft approaching from the north, she said during dinner. Marcus checked his sensors. They showed nothing. Are you sure? Very sure. They are still far away, but I can sense their electromagnetic signatures and heat patterns. 20 minutes later, Marcus's proximity alarms activated. 3 human shuttles were requesting permission to land. Zara had detected them long before his equipment could. The shuttles carried a team of colonial security officers led by Captain James Rodriguez. Marcus had worked with Rodriguez before during equipment inspections. He was a good man, but he followed orders carefully. "Dr. Chen," Rodriguez said as he entered the station, "we need to discuss a security situation." Marcus introduced Zara as his research assistant, not mentioning that she was Valerian. With the device on her head, she could pass for human at first glance. Her pale blue skin was unusual, but humans came in many varieties across the colonies. "What kind of security situation?" Marcus asked. "We have intelligence that suggests Valerian military forces are moving toward human space. They appear to be searching for someone or something in this sector." Rodriguez paused. "We're evacuating non-essential personnel from frontier stations." "I see. When do we need to leave?" "Tomorrow morning. We can only take essential equipment and personal items." After the security team left for the night, Marcus and Zara discussed their options. Running away would not solve the problem. The Valerians would keep searching until they found what they wanted, and if they couldn't find it, they might decide that all human neural interface research was too dangerous to allow. "I will not let your people suffer because of me," Zara said. "I will give myself to the Valerian forces." "Absolutely not," Marcus replied. "They abandoned you once. I won't let them take you again." "Then what do we do?" Marcus looked at his workshop, then at Zara. An idea was forming in his mind. It was dangerous and probably crazy, but it might be their only chance. "We've been thinking about this wrong," he said. "The Valerians are afraid of what we've created. They think it makes humans too dangerous. But what if we could show them that cooperation is better than conflict?" "How?" "By proving that human technology doesn't just threaten them. It can help them too." Marcus walked to his computer and began pulling up files. "The device I built for you was designed specifically for your unique brain structure. But the principles could be adapted for other species, including normal Valerians." Zara understood immediately. "You want to offer them the technology, not just offer it. Demonstrate it. Show them that human innovation plus alien biology creates something better than either could achieve alone. That is very risky. If they decide the technology is too dangerous, they will destroy both of us." Marcus smiled grimly. "Maybe, but if we run away or hide, they'll just keep hunting. At least this way we control the encounter." That night, while Captain Rodriguez and his team slept in their shuttles, Marcus worked frantically to prepare for what might be his last chance to save both Zara and human-Valerian relations. He had no way of knowing that high above the planet. 4 of the deadliest soldiers in the Valerian military were already approaching in ships designed to kill without being detected. The final confrontation was less than 24 hours away. And when it came, it would determine whether humans and Valerians could coexist in the galaxy, or whether this first cooperation between their species would also be the last. Marcus finished his preparations as dawn broke over New Kepler. Whatever happened next, he had done everything he could to protect the person who had trusted him with her future. Now they would find out if trust and innovation could triumph over fear and prejudice. The attack came at dawn, during the shift change when Captain Rodriguez's security team was tired and distracted. Zara sensed them first, of course. 4 individuals approaching from different directions, she whispered to Marcus. "They move without sound, but I detect their heat signatures and electrical fields. They are not human." Marcus checked his security monitors, but they showed nothing. These intruders were using technology that made them nearly invisible to human sensors. "Nearly, but not completely. Can you track them?" Marcus asked quietly. "Yes. They think they are hidden, but the device lets me see things their stealth technology cannot block." Zara closed her eyes to concentrate better. "They are positioning themselves around the station. Professional military formation." Marcus activated the emergency communication system and sent a coded message to Captain Rodriguez. The message was simple: "Station compromised. 4 hostiles. Maintain radio silence." Rodriguez was an experienced soldier. He would understand the message and prepare his team for trouble. But Marcus knew that regular human soldiers would not be enough against Valerian elite forces. He would have to deal with this problem himself. Over the past 3 days, Marcus had been preparing for this possibility. Using his knowledge of Valerian biology gained from helping Zara, he had modified the station's systems. The research station was now far more than it appeared to be. "They are entering the building," Zara reported. 2 through the maintenance tunnels, 1 through the main airlock, 1 through the emergency exit. Marcus activated his first defense. Hidden speakers throughout the station began emitting sound waves at frequencies that disrupted Valerian echolocation. The sounds were too high for humans to hear, but they would make it nearly impossible for the intruders to navigate using their natural abilities. From somewhere in the station came a soft curse in the Valerian language. The hunters had expected to rely on their superior senses, but Marcus had taken that advantage away. Motion sensors detect them now, Marcus said, watching his security screens. The intruders had become visible as they struggled with the sonic interference. 4 individuals, definitely Valerian. Elite soldiers by the way they move. The hunters were professionals. They adapted quickly to the loss of their echolocation, switching to visual scanning and technology-based sensors. But Marcus had prepared for that too. He activated the second layer of defense. Electromagnetic pulse generators hidden in the walls sent out carefully tuned signals that interfered with Valerian technology without damaging human equipment. The aliens' advanced weapons and communication devices began to malfunction. "Clever human," a voice said over the station's communication system. The speaker was using perfect English, but with the musical accent of the Valerian language. "But you only delay the inevitable." "I'm not trying to delay anything," Marcus replied through the same system. "I'm trying to have a conversation." "There will be no conversation. You have stolen Valerian property and corrupted it with primitive technology. Both you and the defective subject will be eliminated." Marcus felt anger flare in his chest. "Her name is Zara. She's not property and she's not defective. She is a failed genetic line that should have been terminated at birth. Instead, you have made her into an abomination that threatens the natural order." While this conversation continued, the hunters were adapting to Marcus's defenses. They moved through the station using backup equipment and manual navigation. These were the best soldiers the Valerian military had, and they were very good at improvising. Zara suddenly grabbed Marcus's arm. "They are trying to cut power to the station. One of them has reached the main generator room." Marcus activated his third defense. Instead of trying to stop the hunter from reaching the generator, he let him get there. But when the Valerian soldier tried to shut down the power, he discovered that Marcus had rewired everything. Cutting the main power actually activated backup systems that made the station's defenses stronger. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red illumination. But these were not ordinary emergency lights. Marcus had modified them to produce specific light frequencies that interfered with Valerian vision. The hunters would find it difficult to see clearly in this lighting. "Impossible." The lead hunter's voice came over the communication system again. "Human technology cannot be this sophisticated." "You keep calling our technology primitive," Marcus replied. "But maybe you haven't been paying attention to what humans can actually do." The hunters regrouped and tried a direct assault on the central laboratory where Marcus and Zara were located. But Marcus had turned the entire station into a maze of tricks and traps, designed specifically to counter Valerian advantages. When the first hunter reached the laboratory door, he found it locked with what appeared to be a simple electronic lock. But when he tried to override it using Valerian hacking technology, the lock activated a hidden system that flooded the corridor with a mixture of gases that were harmless to humans but caused temporary disorientation in Valerians. The second hunter tried to cut through the wall using an energy weapon, but discovered that Marcus had lined the walls with materials that absorbed and redirected energy beams. The hunter's own weapon nearly killed him when the beam bounced back. "You have prepared well, human," the lead hunter admitted over the communication system. "But you cannot hold this position forever. We have reinforcements coming." "Actually, I think help is coming for me too," Marcus said. Outside the station, Captain Rodriguez and his security team had finally understood what was happening. They might not be as advanced as Valerian elite soldiers, but they knew the terrain and they outnumbered the aliens 4-1. More importantly, they were angry. Attacking a human research station was an act of war, and Rodriguez was not going to let it pass without a fight. The hunters found themselves caught between Marcus's technological traps inside the station and human soldiers surrounding the building outside. For the first time in their careers, they were at a disadvantage. "Zara," Marcus said quietly, "I need you to do something for me." "What?" "I want you to talk to them." In Valerian. "Tell them who you are and what we've accomplished together." Zara hesitated. "They will not listen." "To them, I am an abomination." "Maybe. But they need to hear what you have become. They need to understand that this isn't about human technology conquering Valerian biology. It's about cooperation creating something new. Zara activated the station's communication system and began speaking in her native language. Her voice was different now, stronger and more confident than when Marcus had first met her. The musical tones of Valerian speech filled the station. Marcus could not understand the words, but he could hear the effect they had on the hunters. The sounds of movement and conflict stopped. The station became very quiet. When Zara finished speaking, there was a long silence. Then the lead hunter's voice came over the communication system, but now he was speaking in Valerian. "What did you tell them?" Marcus asked. "I told them the truth," Zara replied. "I told them that I was a broken child abandoned to die, and that a human engineer gave me sight beyond anything our people have ever achieved. I told them that I can now see things that even they cannot perceive." "What did they say?" "They want to test me. They want proof that what I claim is true." Marcus nodded. This was the moment he had been preparing for. Everything depended on whether he could demonstrate that human innovation and alien biology could work together to create something better than either could achieve alone. "Tell them we'll come out," Marcus said. "But we come out together and we come out to talk, not to fight." The hunters agreed to a temporary ceasefire. Marcus and Zara would have one chance to prove that cooperation was possible. If they failed, the hunters would complete their mission and eliminate both of them. As they prepared to leave the safety of the laboratory, Marcus realized that the next few minutes would determine not just their fate, but the future relationship between humans and one of the galaxy's most powerful species. Everything he had worked for, everything he believed about human potential, would be tested in the confrontation that was about to begin. Marcus and Zara walked out of the laboratory together. The station's main corridor was filled with an eerie red light from the emergency systems. At the far end, 4 figures waited in the shadows. The Valerian hunters were tall and lean, with the same pale blue skin as Zara, but with a dangerous grace that spoke of years of military training. They wore dark armor that seemed to absorb light, making them appear like shadows given form, their large heads turned toward Marcus and Zara with predatory focus. Captain Rodriguez and his security team flanked the corridor, weapons ready, but not aimed. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. The lead hunter stepped forward. He was taller than the others, with intricate markings on his armor that indicated high rank. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone used to being obeyed without question. "I am Shadow Commander Thekvar of the Valerian Elite Guard," he said in accented English. "You are Dr. Marcus Chen, and this is the aberrant designated Zara 9947. "Her name is just Zara," Marcus said firmly. "And she's not aberrant. She's enhanced." Thekvar's eyes fixed on the device Zara wore. "You claim to have given sight to one born without the gift of hear-seeing. This is impossible. Our greatest scientists have declared it so." "Your scientists were wrong," Zara said, speaking for herself. "But they were not completely wrong. It is impossible using Valerian methods. Human methods are different." "Demonstrate," Thekvar commanded. What happened next was something that would be talked about in both human and Valerian circles for generations to come. Zara stepped into the center of the corridor. She closed her eyes and stood perfectly still for a moment. Then she began to speak. "Commander Thekvar, you carry a weapon on your right side that has been modified with a quantum stabilizer. The modification was done recently within the last 10 days. You also carry a concealed backup weapon in your left boot." Thekvar's expression did not change, but Marcus saw the slight tensing of his muscles that indicated surprise. "Soldier Vexnari," Zara continued, turning toward the second hunter. "You have an old injury to your resonance chamber. It was damaged in combat approximately 2 years ago, and has healed imperfectly. This affects your hear-seeing range by roughly 12%. The soldier called Vexnari took an involuntary step backward. This information was not in any file. Only medical scanners could detect such details. "Soldier Kithra," Zara said to the third hunter, "you are carrying communication equipment that is currently receiving a low-priority message from the hegemony fleet. The message concerns supply schedules and is not urgent." The third soldier's hand moved instinctively toward her communication device, confirming Zara's statement. "And Soldier Nalthek," Zara said to the fourth hunter, "you are pregnant. Early stage, perhaps 4 weeks. You have not yet reported this to your superiors because you fear it will affect your military status. The fourth soldier went completely rigid. Among Valerians, pregnancy was detected much later than among humans. There was no possible way anyone could know this information except through the most advanced medical scanning. Impossible, Tekvar breathed. No technology can perform such detailed biological scanning from this distance. Human technology can, Marcus said, combined with Valerian neural processing. We've created something that neither of our species could achieve alone. Zara opened her eyes and looked directly at Tekvar. But that is not all, Commander. Would you like to know what else I can perceive? Without waiting for an answer, she continued. There are 17 Valerian ships positioned around this planet. 12 are standard patrol vessels. 3 are heavy cruisers. 2 are stealth reconnaissance ships. And 1 is a command vessel carrying someone of very high rank who is monitoring this conversation. Tekvar's composed expression finally cracked. The fleet positions are classified at the highest levels. How could you possibly? I can sense their electromagnetic signatures, their gravitational effects, even the quantum disturbances created by their faster-than-light communication systems. Zara smiled. The human device does not just give me sight, Commander. It gives me awareness of reality itself at levels your people have never imagined. For a long moment, nobody moved. The implications of what Zara had demonstrated were staggering. This was not just advanced technology. This was a fundamental breakthrough that changed what was possible. Finally, Tekvar activated his communication device. He spoke in rapid Valerian to someone far above their heads. Marcus could not understand the words, but he could hear the urgency in the commander's voice. After several minutes of conversation, Tekvar closed the communication channel and looked at Marcus with new respect. The High Admiral wishes to speak with you directly, he said. A new voice came through the communication system, speaking in perfect English but with the unmistakable authority of Supreme Command. Dr. Chen, I am High Admiral Kethsol of the Valerian Hegemony. What you have accomplished here has implications far beyond what you may realize. I understand that, Admiral, Marcus replied. That's why I'm willing to discuss cooperation instead of hiding or fighting. Cooperation. The Admiral spoke the word like he was tasting something unfamiliar. For centuries we have maintained order in this galaxy by ensuring that each species knows its place. Humans were useful but limited. This changes everything. It doesn't have to change everything, Marcus said. It could just change things for the better. Explain, Marcus took a deep breath. This was his one chance to save not just himself and Zara, but potentially the relationship between their entire species. What I built for Zara was designed specifically for her unique situation, but the principles could be adapted for other uses. Imagine Valerian soldiers with enhanced perception abilities. Imagine scientists who could observe quantum phenomena directly. Imagine engineers who could detect structural problems before they become failures. You are proposing to share this technology? I'm proposing partnership. Human innovation combined with Valerian knowledge and resources. We could accomplish things that neither of our species could achieve alone. The Admiral was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke again, his voice carried a different tone. There are those in our government who believe that advanced human technology poses an unacceptable threat to galactic stability. They advocate for preventive measures. Marcus felt ice in his stomach. What kind of preventive measures? The kind that ensure humans never develop technology that could challenge Valerian supremacy. Zara stepped forward. Admiral Kethsol, may I speak? You may. I was born broken by Valerian standards. I was abandoned to die because I could not fulfill the expectations of our society, but this human did not see brokenness. He saw potential. He saw a problem that could be solved. Zara paused. Is that not what we should value? The ability to see possibilities where others see only limitations? You speak wisely for one so young, the Admiral admitted. I speak from experience. Human technology did not make me less Valerian. It made me more than I ever could have been alone. Cooperation does not diminish us, Admiral. It enhances us. Another long silence followed. Marcus could almost hear the wheels of galactic politics turning as the Admiral considered the implications of this moment. Commander Tekvar, the Admiral finally said, you and your team will remain on New Kepler as observers and liaisons. Dr. Chen and Zara will continue their research under joint supervision. We will explore the possibilities of this in cooperation. Tekvar looked like he had just been ordered to befriend a poisonous snake, but he nodded obediently. "Yes, Admiral." "Dr. Chen," the Admiral continued, "you have opened a door that cannot be closed. I hope for all our sakes that what lies beyond it is better than what we leave behind." The communication ended, leaving the corridor in relative quiet. The crisis was over, but Marcus knew that everything had changed. The galaxy would never be quite the same. Captain Rodriguez approached Marcus with a mixture of relief and confusion on his face. "Dr. Chen, what just happened here?" Marcus looked at Zara, who was still wearing the device that had started everything. She smiled at him with confidence and hope that had not been there when he first found her in the storm. "Captain," Marcus said, "I think we just proved that sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to refuse to accept that it can't be solved." As the sun set over New Kepler, the research station that had been the site of a potential war became instead the birthplace of a new era of cooperation between species. It would not be easy, and there would be challenges ahead. But for the first time in galactic history, humans and Valerians would work together as equals. And it all started because one human engineer refused to accept that a young, alien girl was broken beyond repair. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness change the entire universe.